I never imagined that the man I had loved for 14 years would end our marriage with a message so cold it felt like a punch to the chest. His text arrived early in the morning, right when I was packing lunch for our 6-year-old daughter, Lily. It said, "It's over. I filed the papers yesterday. Don't contact me again." That was all. No explanation. No apology. No conversation. Just a digital dismissal from the man who once promised to love me forever. At first, I thought it was some sick joke. But minutes later, I received notifications from the bank. Our joint account had been emptied. Every dollar, everything we'd saved together over the years, gone. My hands trembled so hard I almost dropped my phone. I checked again and again. Zero balance. Reality slapped me in the face. My husband hadn't only abandoned me, he'd robbed me and left me with a child to care for alone. Anger boiled in my chest, but above the anger was confusion. What had changed? Why now? We weren't fighting. Nothing seemed wrong, at least nothing he ever voiced. But the silence that followed his message said everything. He was gone, and he wasn't coming back. I called him. Straight to voicemail. I tried again. Blocked. I messaged him. Blocked. A man who had shared my home, my bed, my dreams, had turned me into a stranger overnight. Lily tugged at my sleeve and asked why I was crying. I forced a smile and lied, telling her something got in my eye. But deep inside, a storm was gathering. I wasn't just heartbroken, I was determined. My daughter depended on me, and I refused to let him destroy our lives. I contacted the bank again to confirm, hoping it was some glitch. It wasn't. The representative sympathized but reminded me that since the account was joint, he had every right to withdraw the money. Legally, yes. Morally, absolutely not. I knew I needed a plan, slow, patient, and smart. Revenge wasn't just about hurting him back, it was about reclaiming the life he tried to steal from us. That afternoon, I visited a lawyer, using the emergency savings I kept hidden in a separate account, a precaution I never expected to need. The lawyer, Ms. Turner, listened carefully, taking notes as I explained everything. She didn't look surprised, which said a lot about how often she had seen women blindsided like this. Divorcing by text won't hold up legally, she said. But draining the account will count against him if we pursue it strategically. He thinks he's in control right now, but trust me, he has no idea what's coming. Her confidence steadied me. She gave me instructions: stop communicating with him directly, gather financial documents, gather proof of spending, and avoid making emotional moves. She also asked something that made my heart sink. Do you suspect he's seeing someone else? The thought had crossed my mind earlier, but I shoved it away because I wasn't ready to swallow that pill. But now the question twisted in my stomach. Suddenly, subtle signs I ignored began replaying in my mind. Late nights at the office, hidden phone screens, secretive smiles at messages, changed passwords. The truth felt obvious now. He had someone else, and she probably thought she'd won. That night, I searched through old emails and digital files, anything that could help me understand what he'd been planning. And there it was, an email he forgot to delete from his hidden folder, one that synced automatically to our shared laptop. It was a message from him to a woman named Sabrina. The subject line read, "Can't wait to start our new life." The email was full of romantic nonsense and promises to move in together, right after he handled his divorce situation. My jaw clenched. So that was it. He threw his family away for this woman. They had planned everything. He even wrote that he'd secure the money before she finds out. That line lit a fire inside me so powerful I could feel it in my bones. He thought he was clever. He thought he had outsmarted me. He thought I was weak, predictable, broken. But he was wrong. The next days were a blur of gathering evidence, screenshots, bank statements, photos, and messages. Everything. And the more I collected, the stronger my resolve became. I wasn't going to beg him to come back. I wasn't going to cry at his doorstep. I wasn't going to let him walk away clean. I was going to take everything back, and more. Once Ms. Turner saw the evidence, her eyes widened with satisfaction. This is better than I expected. He committed financial fraud within the marriage. He attempted to hide assets. He abandoned a dependent child without lawful notice. This changes everything. For the first time in weeks, hope sparked inside me. Not the fragile kind, this was a flame. A sharp, burning fire. My husband had no idea the trap he'd set for himself. He thought draining the account gave him all the power. He thought the text message freed him. But he underestimated one thing: a woman who has nothing left to lose becomes unstoppable. The next week became a turning point in a way I never imagined. While he was out living his fantasy with Sabrina, believing he had escaped the marriage cleanly, I was quietly building a case so strong it would crush every advantage he thought he had. My lawyer worked fast, faster than he expected. She filed emergency motions for financial restitution, child support, temporary custody, and a freeze on all assets he had access to. He had no idea any of this was happening. 2 days later, I got a call from Ms. Turner. He's about to receive the court notice. Do not react when he contacts you. Let him panic. It will work in your favor. Her tone held a confidence that felt like a shield around me. All I had to do now was wait. I didn't have to wait long. That evening, my phone rang. His name flashed on the screen, not the number he used before, but his original one. He had unblocked me. I let it ring twice before answering, making sure he stewed in uncertainty. What the hell did you do? He snapped the moment I picked up. There was no greeting, no apology, just pure anger. Why did I get served legal papers? You think this is funny? You think you can ruin my life because you're upset? I kept my voice calm. You ended the marriage through a text message. You emptied our account. You abandoned your child. I'm doing what the law requires. He scoffed. Stop acting like a victim. I took what was mine. And I don't owe you anything. You took everything, I corrected softly. Not just money. For a second, he fell silent. Then he exploded again. You're unbelievable. And Sabrina is furious. She wants nothing to do with this drama. Fix it. So now I knew, they were both panicking. Good. I'm not fixing anything, I said. But you'll have to explain everything to the court soon. He cursed and hung up. But I wasn't rattled this time. His anger no longer scared me, because I finally saw the truth. He wasn't in control. He was terrified. The court hearing was scheduled for 2 weeks later. During that time, small details began unfolding that shocked even me. He had moved in with Sabrina, as expected, but they were already fighting. I knew from a mutual friend, who reached out hesitantly, that Sabrina had assumed he was financially stable on his own. When she found out he drained a joint marital account to run away with her, she lost her mind. Apparently, she didn't like the idea of being tied to someone who could easily steal money from the person he married. I couldn't help it, I laughed when I heard that part. Not because it was funny, but because karma was fast, efficient, and brutal. Still, I focused on preparing for the court hearing. Ms. Turner sharpened every detail of the case. She organized screenshots, timelines, emails, the withdrawn bank statements, and his text message breakup. She called it a masterpiece of self-destruction, courtesy of my husband. The day of the hearing arrived with cold air and a heavy sky. I walked into the courtroom with my shoulders straight, wearing the quiet confidence Ms. Turner had coached me into. He was already there, pacing, running his hand through his hair, clearly stressed. Sabrina wasn't with him. She didn't want to be associated with the mess he'd created. He looked at me briefly when I sat down, but I didn't offer him a single ounce of attention. Not pity, not fear, nothing. The judge called the session to order, and things immediately went downhill for him. Ms. Turner presented everything in clear, sharp detail. Every shady move he had made became public record. The judge's expression grew harder the longer she spoke. When it was his turn, he stuttered. He lied. He contradicted himself. He tried to blame me, accuse me, gaslight me, but the evidence was too strong. The judge cut him off multiple times. At one point, he said, "She's exaggerating. I only took the money because she wasn't contributing enough. I had to protect myself." The judge leaned forward. By withdrawing the entire marital savings account without notice. By abandoning your child. By leaving a marriage via text message. His voice echoed across the room. This is not protection. This is financial abuse. My husband's face drained of color. The judge continued, based on the evidence provided, I'm issuing an immediate restitution order. You will return the full amount withdrawn from the joint account. Additionally, temporary full custody is awarded to the mother. Child support will begin immediately. You are also required to disclose all assets, including any hidden or transferred accounts. Failure to comply will result in further legal action. My heart raced, not from fear but from victory. A quiet, steady victory. His mouth fell open. This is insane. You can't do this. The judge didn't even look at him. This is the consequence of your actions. Court dismissed. I walked out without looking back. Ms. Turner squeezed my arm. We're winning. And he knows it. That night, I received another call from him. Not angry this time, desperate. Please, he begged, can we just talk? I made a mistake. Sabrina left. I want to come home. We can fix this. I closed my eyes, remembering the text message that shattered my world. It's over. Don't contact me again. Now it was my turn. There's no home to come back to, I said calmly. And I don't fix what someone intentionally breaks. He cried. He pleaded. He apologized. But I hung up. For the first time in a long time, I slept peacefully. Because now I understood. Revenge wasn't about destroying him, it was about rebuilding myself so completely that he realized he had destroyed his own life instead. And the best part, he still didn't know what when the court ruling hit him, it didn't just shake his life, it shattered the fantasy he had built. But what he didn't know was that the legal victory was only the beginning. There were still pieces of our past he assumed belonged to him. And I was about to take back every single one. A week after the hearing, Ms. Turner called me in for one final meeting. Her tone was sharp, almost excited. Your husband tried to hide a secondary savings account under his brother's name, she said. But we found it. The judge is adding it to the restitution order. I blinked. He tried to hide money. She nodded. He moved nearly $7,000 into his brother's account 3 days before he filed the divorce text. He thought no one would ever find it. My stomach tightened. He had planned this. Long before he walked out, long before the text message, long before Sabrina. He had been preparing to quietly strip our lives apart. I didn't feel anger anymore, just relief that I wasn't trapped with him anymore. What happens now? I asked. We'll recover those funds. And then, she leaned back, we finish the division of property. The division of property. The final blow. We owned a car together, well maintained, fully paid off, worth a decent amount. He had assumed he would get it because he was the one who used it more. But the court didn't care about assumptions. The court cared about fairness. A week later, the final ruling came. The car was legally awarded to me along with full custody, financial restitution, and nearly full rights to everything we built together. He was ordered to vacate the apartment we once shared because legally, I was recognized as the primary caregiver, and our child needed stability. He had 48 hours to remove his remaining things. He showed up the next morning, knocking on the door like he had every right in the world. I opened it halfway. I just need to get my clothes, he said quietly. No problem, I replied, stepping aside. He walked through the apartment slowly, like he was remembering a life he burned himself. He picked up a few shirts, a duffel bag, a box of personal items. I stood by the kitchen, watching him realize that everything he lost was because of a decision he made in one careless moment. A single text message. He finally stopped and looked at me. I really messed up, he whispered. I didn't respond. Not because I wanted to hurt him, but because there was nothing left to say. He stepped outside, carrying only 2 bags, the only things he was legally allowed to take with him. Before leaving, he turned back. I didn't think you'd fight me, he admitted. I thought you'd just give up. Not anymore, I said. He lowered his eyes. I'm sorry. It was too late for that. He walked away slowly, shoulders slumped, like a man who finally understood that the world doesn't reward betrayal. I closed the door quietly and locked it, not out of fear, but out of finality. The next few weeks moved quickly. He tried calling again. I blocked him. Then he tried emailing apologies. I didn't reply. Even his brother reached out, saying he was depressed and broke. I felt bad for his pain, but not enough to forget my own. Then one day, Sabrina messaged me. A long, emotional letter. She apologized. She said he had lied to her too, told her we were practically done, told her the money was his business funds, told her I was emotionally unstable. She said she dumped him after realizing he had manipulated both of us. She also said he was now living with a cousin, sleeping on a couch. I didn't reply. Some people don't deserve a second chance at any version of your life, not even forgiveness. My real healing started when the check arrived, restitution plus the recovered hidden money. It wasn't revenge money, it was survival money, justice money. I used it to stabilize my life, my bills, my child's needs, and to start a small online business I had dreamed of for years. And for the first time in a long time, I felt free. Months later, on a quiet afternoon, my phone buzzed with a number I didn't recognize. Against my better judgment, I answered. It was him. His voice was drained, softer. I just wanted to say, I really lost everything. I'm trying to start over. I hope you're doing okay. I didn't gloat. I didn't mock him. I didn't seek revenge anymore. You'll survive, I said simply. I wish you happiness, he whispered. You should wish it for yourself first, I replied, and then I ended the call. not out of anger, but because that chapter didn't belong in my life anymore. In the end, I didn't have to destroy him. He did that to himself. My revenge wasn't fire or rage or retaliation. It was rebuilding a life so peaceful, so steady, so full of strength, that he realized walking away from us wasn't a victory. It was the biggest mistake he'd ever made. And I didn't take everything back out of spite. I took everything back because he never deserved any of it.